Om. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Where is God? When I was thinking of a topic, I happened to come across a video clipping wherein an angry journalist, he was asking a question to a Mahatma. Where was God when such and such tragic train incident took place? Where was God when such and such tragic train accident took place? Now think of the concept of this person about the God, which many people may have it. God is some like a supervisor or an executive, looking order in everywhere, etc. And must be at the time when that accident took place, he must have deserted his duty and must have gone for a cup of coffee. The problem is, even those who are the so-called religious leaders have no picture about what exactly is the God principle, what exactly is the divinity principle, what exactly is that Bhagavat Tattva. We should be clear about it. The damage to the understanding of God principle or divinity principle, Bhagavat Tattva, is done mainly by those who profess that God is sitting beyond the cloud in heaven, observing everyone. He sends those who do bad actions to hell, and those who do good, to them he sends to heaven. They themselves don't know what God is. It is a case of blind leading the blind. The other source of damage about this is by those who are the votaries of science. They brand the scriptures such as Vedas as blind belief or what they call a superstition. The problem with them is they totally rely on perception as the means of knowledge. When I say perception, what I mean is what you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, with, of course, inference, presumption, etc. That is only the means of knowledge. The scientists need to study epistemology. Epistemology means Pramana Shastra. wherein the theory of knowledge, especially with regards to the means of gaining that knowledge and the validity of the knowledge so gained is discussed. They are totally impervious about that. For them, perception only is the means of knowledge pramana and nothing beyond that. Actually, we have to sympathize with them. We don't need their certificate at all. See, why? Because we have got a solid foundation as far as what the God principle, divinity principle is. When they say superstition, what you mean by superstition? Andhashraddha. Superstition is an unfounded belief. Therein is complete trust and confidence without logical proof in some religious doctrines. This is not applicable to us, Sanatana Dharma, wherein the God principle is established beyond any trace of doubt whatsoever. For us, the three cardinal tests are taken into account. That is, Shruti, the Vedas, Yukti, the reasoning, and final and the foremost is Anubhava, direct experience, your own verification of what is told in the Vedas. Of course, there are quite a few things in Vedas which we cannot verify with this human embodiment. Just accept it. But sir, there are many more things which can be verified right now here. And thereby, we have got an inference when such and such things which are atindriya, beyond the realm of perception, what is otherwise called as transcendental, can be verified. Other few things also should hold true. These are inference. So, for example, rebirth, heaven or hell, law of karma, papa punya, which cannot be directly verified by the method of experiment. That is what science wants. They want everything in front of in the form of empirical experiment demonstration. Of course, for anything and everything, they have a ready answer. They give their own answer. They think that is the final word. And if they can't give, they say, we have not reached there so far, but one day we'll reach there. You can console yourself. But we are not ready to accept it. Now, rebirth, heaven, etc. cannot be verified. But my dear sir, there are many things such as the God principle, the ultimate divinity principle, the ultimate reality. Again, which can be certainly verified. There are certain karmas, sacrifices, etc., told in the Vedas whose efficacy can be verified right now here. You need not wait for hereafter. For example, there is what is called as Kaririki Yaga. If rains are not there, you do this properly. Rain is bound to come. Putrakameshti Yaga. If sun is not there, you do Putrakameshti. Dasharatha did it. You get the sun. Much more than that. A glaring example can be given. Even they say, hey, if you don't have Shraddha in the Vedas, see at the Vedic astronomy. Those days when astronomical observatories were not there, satellites were not there, how they used to calculate to the last fraction of a second the eclipses, etc. What time eclipse takes place, what time it ends, etc. All in detail. The calculation of planetary positions, constellations, etc., sitting on Earth was so precise. That is why you can take into account what is called as Panchanga. You know, Panchanga, our calendar. Daily calendar, we have many details, not just simply date, etc. Panchanga, almanac. 5 facets are there, 5 angas are there. They are Tithi. Tithi means the lunar day or a date. Vara, the day of the week. Nakshatra, star, constellation. When it starts, when it sets. When it rises, when it sets. Yoga, conjunction of planets. Combination of planets. You see these nowadays many astrologers are giving so many on the YouTube. So that is it. Then Karanam, certain divisions in the day as with the as astronomical divisions of with some time, wherein during which period good things can be take place, which are bad periods, etc. All these without any scientific gadgets, they were calculating. If that can be true to such a precision, that means Vedas, whatever they say, is authentic. So therefore, to say that what meets the eyes alone is true, and there is no field of knowledge beyond that, is a very childish thinking. In fact, the magnitude of knowledge which is beyond the senses, transcendental, is so vast. Left to itself, it is not accessible to the human intellect. But if a human works on the guidelines given by Vedas or Upanishads, etc., can certainly verify the truth of these statements in the Vedas. So therefore, to brand Vedas, etc., as superstition is only an exhibition of their own ignorance. Therefore, I call it as scientific superstition of the scientists. Well, let us not bother about that. Vedas are founded on the three cardinal tests. Not Vedas, they're like the entities, like Ishvara, God principle, heaven, hell, dharma, adharma, papa, punya, rebirth, etc., are based on three cardinal principles. Shruti, which is given by the creator, Ishvara, God principle itself, along with this creation, like a user's manual, like an instruction manual. It is given to reasoning, can be verified to study. Upanishad, etc. They give the plausible reasoning. Foremost thing is like Bhagavat Tattva, God principle, Atma Tattva, Brahma Tattva. What is Atma? What is Brahma? Can be verified directly right now here, not hereafter. What more proof you want? You have no basis to say it is wrong. That is, we have got some basis that it is so. Of course, to begin with, Shraddha is necessary so that you proceed with the process of investigation. Well, you may ask one thing. Maybe God is there, we don't dispute. He may be omnipotent, he may be omniscient. But let God mind his own business and let we mind our own business. Why should we know about God? We've got many more things. Time is not sufficient at all. We've got priorities for many things. From where we are bringing this God and asking us to know what the God is. What bearing this pursuit of knowing God principle has got in our life? Remember, the knowledge of God principle is directly connected to the three universal aspirations. Knowing God principle is directly connected to these three universal aspirations. What are they? You can verify yourself. I want to live happily all the time. Yes or no? Number two, I want to live free from sorrows all the time. Yes or no? Third one is, I want to live forever. I never want to die. You may spell it out or not. This is the undercurrent in all that we do in our life. But we can never succeed in this world, even by best of our efforts, in fulfilling these three aspirations totally. Partially, yes. Even partially not that. To a great, we may be happy for a long time. For some time we can get free from happiness. Maybe we may elongate our life up to 100 years, not over. Vedas come and tell, here is the solution. Know this God principle in reality. How you individually is related to the God principle. Therein, if you know this directly in terms of direct experience, your unending pursuit of to be happy all the time, to be free from sorrow all the time, to live forever without death, will be solved once forever, totally. In fact, you know well that these three aspirations are not just in the humans. They are so in the case of all living beings, living creatures. But the final solution to solve this and put a final stop to this pursuit successfully by gaining the goal is possible for only humans by knowing directly what this God principle is, and at the final lap of discovery, you will find that you and me in reality are not different from this God principle, which is a principle which is nothing but self-evident happiness. It is a principle wherein no trace of sorrow is ever possible. It is a principle which ever exists, never born, never ends, no death. This is the final solution. You may accept or not, you may believe or not, until you discover this truth, your pursuit of gaining happiness all the time, to be free from sorrow all the time, to live forever free from death, can never end. Try the day you can succeed in overcoming these three aspirations, to be happy forever, to be free from sorrow forever, to live forever. If you can stop this pursuit, you need not know God at all. Impossible. So let us not have this grudge. Why should you know God principle? Let him mind his own business. Let us mind our own business. Now, let us find out what this God principle is. In Sanatana Dharma, in Vaidika Dharma, the basis of which is in the Vedas, Paurusheya, not the product of human intellect as in the case of some religions founded by some persons, maybe a great saint, not that way. So, the God principle is a matter of investigation and not something which is to be simply believed. Vedas and Smritis, texts based on Vedas, they ascertain what this God principle is, which you and I can certainly discover and verify for ourselves the correctness of what is told in the Vedas. Of course, to begin with, Shraddha is necessary. That acceptance of what is told in the Vedas is true, though I have not verified yet. But in course of time, we can verify the truth of it. And this is no more a matter of belief. We believe pending our inquiry and final discovery. We don't forget, just believe and forget. No. So we have to investigate into what this God principle is. Let me give you a teaching in brief by none other than Bhagavan Shiva, Kailasadipati, to a disciple who is not ordinary. He himself is great. And do you know who the disciple is? Sage Vasishtha. Once, Sage Vasishtha was doing tapas in the Himalayan valleys with his disciples. It was at Pradosha time, around 8 p.m. Everywhere pitch darkness. Vasishtha and disciples were lost in samadhi. Vasishtha came out of it and suddenly saw this pitch darkness, bright light is being seen. He was wondering, what is this? Soon he could discover that Nandi, vehicle of Shiva, is making the way. Shiva, Parvati with her ganas are coming. He would, hey, get up, get up, get up. He woke up all disciples. Shiva is coming here. Shiva came, asked, is everything okay? Our tapas is going on, etc. We said, Bhagavan, with your grace, everything is going fine. But Vasishtha he is not going to lose this opportunity of Bhagavan coming his doorstep. He wants to make full use of it. He said, "Oh Bhagavan, can I ask you a question?" "Oh yes, certainly you ask." "What is the highest mode of worshipping God principle which totally destroys sin and gives the highest good moksha?" What is that highest mode of worship? You know how Bhagavan Shiva begins with Vasishta, "I hope you know what is Deva Tattva, what is God principle, what is this ultimate divinity is." Asking Vasishta. And he starts, without waiting for his answer, Shiva starts telling. You know how the first he says, what is not God principle? Brushes aside what is not God principle. And then comes to what God principle is. He says, Na deva pundarikaksha. The lotus side Vishnu is not God. Nacha deva trilocanaha. Not me, three-eyed ones, I'm not a God. Na deva kamalodbhutaha. Not Brahma born of lotus is not God. Na deva trideshwara. Indra is not God. Na deva pavanaha. The deity Vayu, air is not God. Narkaha, the deity sun is not God. No Nalaha, the deity fire is not God. No Nishakaraha, the deity moon is not God. No Brahmana, not a Brahman. No Avanipaha, not even a king is God. Naham, me who is sitting in front of you is not a God. No Tvam Dijotama, you the best Brahmana, you are not God. Na Devaha Deha Rupaha. Anyone who has got a physical body is not God. Shiva is telling, not me. He says, Na Devaha Chitta Rupa Dhru. Anyone who is wielding a mind, Antakarna is not God. Na Devaha Kamala Rupi. Any physical beauty is not God. Napi Devo Bhavet Mati. Even intellect is not God. Then what is God? It actually concludes, Sakaro Naiva Bhagavan. Anything that is with the form Akara cannot be God principle. We'll come to that things afterward, but keep in mind. Sakaro Naiva Bhagavan. Anything which is Akara form is not God. Then what is God? It defines what God principle is. I will explain the words. Akratrimam Anadyantam Devanam Deva Uchyate. This is what is called, described as Deva Tattva, divinity principle, God principle. What is that? Three things are there. Akritrimam. Kritrima means artificial, which is made, created. No Kritrimam, not created. Means what? It is self-existent. Anadyantam, Nadinantam, Adi, birth or cause is not there. Anta, death, destruction is not there. Without the birth and death, self-existing principle. What is it? Devanam. Devanam means that which is resplendent. Swaprakash. It is called Niratishaya Pramoda. Devanam finally means limitless happiness. It is Chit Prakasha, the knowledge principle, which is Chaitanya. You know, what is God principle? Chaitanya, pure awareness principle, pure consciousness principle, Chit Tattva. So, this principle, how can it be there in the limited entities which have got forms? Akara adi parichidnim. The entities which are circumscribed, limited by form, time, and space. How can this be there? There is not in nature. So therefore, mite vastu nikuta. In the limited entities, how this principle can be there? They can't be this principle. So therefore, akratrimam anadyantam devanam chit shivam vidu. That which is self-existent, without beginning and without birth and death. Devanam, limitless happiness, which is Chit Shivam. Don't think that Shiva is the Kailasati Shiva. Shiva means Mangala Sarup. The Chaitanya, the pure awareness principle, the pure conscious principle, which is always Mangala, Ananda Sarupa. No trace of sorrow can be like that. That is what it is. The Deva Shabdena Katyate Tat Prapojaya. That alone is called as the God principle, and that should be the Chit Tattva, the Chaitanya Tattva, which is limitless happiness, self-evident knowledge principle, self-existent in nature, that should be adored. Tadevaseta sarvam satta sattatma rupadrip. Everything is that only. Just as, have you seen water bubbles? The big city is difficult. In villages where the roofs are made of tile and the monsoon, the water falls, it goes on, this water accumulated, it goes on flowing, bubbles are formed. And big bubbles are there. And bubbles means things get reflected. So bubbles, you can find that things around get reflected. Now this bubble, what? Is born of water, exists in water, or sometimes gets burst and merges back in water. And all those reflected things which you get interested, ooh, disappear. So is entire creation, born of Chit, exists in Chit, with so many achievements and sorrows and tragedies and etc., merges back in Chit. Now, you should have a very pertinent doubt. If the formless Chit is the divinity principle, which is ever existent principle, therefore death is not there. Which is happiness principle, there's no more seeking of happiness. Which is free from all that gives sorrows, no sorrows at all. If this principle is the divinity principle, God principle, why do the Shastras speak of so many gods? Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Ganesha, Skanda, Devi, endless. Shastra speak, not you and I talk of it. How do they talk of it? Yes. Shiva gives the reason. Those who are not capable of grasping this ultimate God principle divinity, for them, a second step is given. An illustration given that a parivrajaka, sannyasi, has to be on the move. He should walk about 1 yojana, means between 8 and 9 miles per day. If he is not capable, 1 crore, 1/4 yojana means about 2 miles. Like that. Those who are not able to grasp the ultimate divinity principle, for them, what is this? The alternative is divinity principle God with forms, different names and forms, appealing to them for their upasana, for their worship, for their meditation is being given. And thereby, their mind is so prepared that they are capable of discovering this Chit Shiva, Akritrimam Anadyantam Devanam Chaitanya Tattva, directly at the Swarupa, their nature. So therefore, the ultimate principle is Chaitanya Tattva, from where creation is born, in which it exists, and to which it merges back. We can see the example of water bubble. This is what it means. Everything is divinity principle. Mahopanishad says, Ayam bandhu, ayam neti, iti kalana, lagu chetasam. This is my kinsman. This is my relative. And that is, he is not that. His crippled vision is lagu chetasam. In the case of mean-minded people, udara charitana, vasudhaiva kutumbakam. For those who are udara charita, who know the ultimate reality, for them, vasudhaiva kutumbakam, entire earth, entire cosmos, entire creation is one family. This principle, though can take time to grasp totally, in practical life, we can put in practice. What is that? Everything is divinity principle. So therefore what? Love all, serve all. Love all, serve all. Help ever, hurt never. Thereby, you will be expanding yourself. You will be getting rid of the crippled vision. I am me, I am this body, etc. And that mind will be able to grasp finally what this God principle is. But one thing, caution, this mistake at times, even Vedantic masters, some people, acharyas do, they dismiss totally the divinity principle with form. Right? Formless. Great mistake. Until your mind gets absorbed in this ultimate divinity principle, you cannot forsake the form, because that divinity principle, God principle, in the form of a form, is the friend, philosopher, and guide until you discover the ultimate God principle. So you can't dispense with God principle with form and bhakti, devotion, worship of it. It is necessary until our mind is ready to discover the final truth. But no further. The God principle is Chaitanya, pure awareness principle, pure conscious principle in you, me, and all. This is what even Hanumanji said. Deha buddhya tavadaso. O Rama, if I take myself to the body, I am your servant. Jiva buddhya atmadamshaka. If I take my subtle body, mind, intellect, jiva as me, you are the whole, I am the part. Atma buddhya tvameva. From the standpoint of Chaitanya Atma, you and me are one and the same. So therefore, in our Sanatana Dharma, there is Dvaita, there is Vishishtadvaita, and finally Advaita. Truly speaking, there is no conflict. Because I identify the body, I am different to God. Identify with Jiva, I am part of it. Chaitanya, ultimate reality, God, both are one and the same. As Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda said, we travel from truth to truth, but never from untruth to truth. Dvaita is true at that level. Vishishtadvaita is true at that level. At ultimate level, it is Advaita. Now, one more problem I will touch. Sir, what you said is acceptable. But it is as per Vedas and Upanishads. Your Sanatana Dharma says. But other religions don't accept it. They have their own versions. Now tell me whether you are right or they are right. For which I will reveal to you the truth which generally people don't try to investigate. The truth is whether other religions accept or not, all religions, all their theories are bathed in the Vedas. They may not accept. But truth is they are bathed in the Vedas. Just as the mansions, multi-storied buildings, palaces, houses, hutments may be varied, but they are bathed in Mother Earth. So, Veda is the basis of all religions. Two sample examples I will give you now. Take, for example, Christianity. Christianity, for, see, I am talking of history. You can find this in the history pages. Nowadays, very easy. Internet is there. What is that? Wikipedia, some all you can. You put the name and then you will get it. This is a matter of history, and history speaks of it. This is not any interpretation of any school of thought or any religion. Christianity, for 5.5 centuries, immediately after Jesus, did accept Punarjanma reincarnation, and journey of soul from God to many lives in terms of birth and etc., and return to God principle, what we call Jiveshwara Aikya, Christianity. And evidence, historical evidence shows that these two, rebirth and soul emerging from God and merging back to there, these two were the part of church's early doctrine. They were church were telling this and was promoted by church fathers, writers who established Christian doctrine. History records this, that early Christian church believed in reincarnation and the soul's journey back to oneness with God. This all changed by imperial decree some 500 plus years after the death of Christ. Emperor Justinian in 545 Common Era AD. So forced the ruling cardinals to draft a papal decree stating anyone who believes that soul emerging from God and merges with God and rebirth will be punished by death. A prominent theologian by name Origen or Origen, I don't know. He was in 185 AD to 254 AD, Origen or Origen, wrote about pre-existence of soul. He taught that soul's very source was God and soul was traveling back to oneness with God while lessons learned in multiple lives. He taught Christ came to show us what we can become. For centuries, this was the mainstream of Christianity. Later, the problem started. The emperors started visualizing danger to their power by this. In the 6th century, Emperor Justinian and Pope Vigilius at that time disagreed on this. Pope Vigilius said, what Origen has taught cannot be condemned because it is inconsistent with what the Messiah Jesus said. Jesus said at the beginning, they know what it, because they were the imminent people immediately after Christ. That soul originates from God, travels and comes back, rebirth is there. But emperor was determined to force his view. And he imprisoned Pope Vigilius. You will sign the decree. And on the day of this council, he was being taken to that. In between, somehow, Pope Vigilius escaped. He didn't want to sign this. Then what happened? Question comes, why all this? There is a logical reason. Why emperors are opposed that? See, opposed to soul originating from God and merging back in God after so many births. Because he was convinced by some cardinals and bishops that if this is known to everyone, what soul had once pre-existed with God, and then Christ was not anything special to have come from God. They say Christ has come from God. If everyone has come from God, what is the speciality of Christ? And then they convinced the emperor that if the people realize that they were children of God, they might begin to believe they no longer needed emperor, or they no longer need pay taxes, or they no longer obey holy church. Why? Everyone is there, and Christ shows us the way to discover that they are God principle. So that means vested interest. Emperor and church will lose the importance. And that is what they did it. And the fifth ecumenical council, Common Era, 545 AD 540. And the first condemnation was reincarnation, rebirth, and what is that? Soul's journey from God and back to. If this is what they anathematize. If anyone asserts the fabulous pre-existence of souls and shall assert the monstrous restoration which follows from it, let him be anathema. Even these events are in history books. Yet, modern Christianity and the Vatican, for reasons known to them, are not in a mood to restore the original teaching of Christ, brushing aside this emperor's papal decree without Pope's signature. This is as far as Christianity is concerned. They have to explain. But they are inconsistent with what Vedas say. Not they. What Jesus said is inconsistent with what Vedas say. Now, Islam, as a primary school student, I remember in some text, I don't know, history or geography, I remember very clearly, Allah is Nirakara in our native language. Allah is one and is Nirakara. Tell me, what can be the principle one and Nirakara except Chaitanya? There are many surs who speak of Allah as identical with the Brahman Chaitanya. Few examples I will give you. Some saint, Yusuf Ali, I don't know, must be a great saint, must be Yusuf Ali. He said, Allah is without form. But we know him through his creation. We know of love and wisdom by seeing his beauty around us. As our divine vision grows, we begin to see Allah in all things. Allah in all things, and everything is Allah. Fine? Allah, there is no God save him, Allah. And he is alive and eternal. Alive, Chaitanya, eternal, Anadyanta. This is Surah 2, 255 Quran. Allah belongs, to Allah belong the east and the west. Whithersoever ye turn, wherever you turn, there is presence of Allah. For Allah is all pervading, because Allah is all pervading and all knowing. Surah 2, 115 Quran. Sarvata Pani Padam Tat Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Vedas earlier, okay? They came now just recently. Allah is the first and the last, and outward and inward. And He is the knower of all things. He is with you wherever you may be, and Allah is the seer of what you do. Sarvyapi Ananta, Sarvajna Sakshi. He breathed into him something of his spirit. Allah breathed in the mankind something spirit. Praveshruti. Tat Srishtva Tadevano Pravishat. Availability of Siddhabhas. This is Surah 32, 9 Quran. To him is the primal origin of the heaven and earth. When he decreed a matter, he said, be, and it is kun, fayakun or something like that. It means Atmaiva idamagra asit, Sadeva Swami idamagra asit, and it is sankalpa. Bahusyam prajayeti, satapotapyata, satapastapva, idagam sarvamasrujata. Kun, be, let it be. Let it come into existence. See, find out. Did the creation start after Muhammad came into picture? He was one entity born in the world. It was there in the beginning. And Vedas have already told what it is all about. With one word, kun, 5 elements came into existence. Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhuta akashad vayu vayoragni agnerapa advya prithvi prithivya uposhadaya oshadebhyonnam annaturusha. All these are there in Surah Quran 6, 12, 14 and 25, 33, something like that. And all this vegetation, etc., everything is there. I'm not going in detail. Is there? He gave you the faculty of hearing, sight, and feelings, etc. Chakshu chakshu prana se prana manasa mana, etc. Man and animal both have 5 senses, but God gave man mind and intelligence to discriminate between right and wrong. Viveka buddhi. So therefore, this Allah fits in one formless Chaitanya only. So therefore, it is a matter of research. Because nowadays, in the name of religion, money is in the forefront in terms of conversion, etc. These people will not be able to ascertain what their own Shastra says. A genuine seekers have to sit together and verify all this. One more thing, I will conclude with this. Zoroastrian, Parsi. Light is in you. You are in light. You are the light. That light means what? Chaitanya Tattva, which can be easily known by the that earlier example, water bubbles. Light is in you. Water is in you, bubble. You are in light. You bubble, water bubble is in water. You, the bubble, is water. Chaitanya is everything. So therefore, we must know what this God principle is. Fundamentally, it is Chaitanya Tattva, pure awareness principle, pure conscious principle. But being difficult to grasp, until then, we have to take to the divinity principle with form of your choice. But ultimate God principle is one and the same. Thank you all. Thanks to India Advaita Academy for this. Om Shanti.